wholesome feelings go out to Kristi Noem, however you fucking spell her name. This is tragic news. Tragic news. So this lady, Kristi Noem, who's a politician, her husband got busted for cross-dressing. Her husband, Brian, was exposed for being on this kink website where he likes to dress up with fake tits and padding in his bum and shit and do these weird pouting faces and whatever else it may be. Nothing wrong with it at all. Not going to sit here and kink shame. But obviously, if you're conservative, if you're a right winger, this is essentially paramount to eating babies, right? If you're into anything that kind of is a little bit outside the norm, anything that kind of maybe blurs the lines, anything that is a little bit risque, people in the conservative space don't like it too much. But the funny and the fucking tragic thing about this is that this is probably a consequence of living a very, I won't say sheltered, but a very controlling life when it comes to sexual expression. You'd imagine a lot of conservatives, a lot of religious people from the right wing are people that usually try to repress a lot of their maybe desires, a lot of their wants and needs. And in my opinion, in most cases, I think most people would agree that, you know, the more you repress those type of things, the more they sort of like come out in other ways, and usually in more extreme ways. That's why for the most part, a lot of people, that's why the common saying amongst guys is like, you know, if you want to find a girl that's maybe a little bit more on the freaked out side of things, go to a church or get a girl that's overly religious. Usually those type of girls that have been brought up in a particular way, you know, when it comes to the stuff in the bedroom, they get down. So it really is no surprise on that way in terms of what's going on. But in terms of them as a family, this must be heartbreaking, especially if they have no idea. It's hard to me to imagine a wife having absolutely no idea that her husband's into this sort of stuff. Like, where would you hide it? You know, where would you? I mean, she's gonna find it in some points, especially if you live together, cleaning stuff, rearranging stuff. You're gonna open a box, open a thing you haven't meant to open. So it's hard for me to believe that she never ever knew. But still, the pictures are crazy. When I came to it, I was like, rotted. That kind of came out of the blue. So this is courtesy of the Daily Mail. Of course, the Daily Mail broke the story. Secret double life of Kristi Noem's cross-dressing husband, Brian. The pouting, busty bimbo photos and a trove of explicit messages. By the way, I just don't understand why he's into it, but did it bareface. That's what I don't get. Do a lot of these people not think they're ever going to get caught? You're in a very public relationship, very public marriage. Your wife was a very prominent person, or somewhat prominent within a Trump campaign. Like, don't you think you're going to get ruffled? You're going to get found out at some point. I guess maybe some people that are right wing, that are into this sort of stuff, maybe they think because their side aren't overtly into it, and it's more of a left leaning thing, there's maybe the hope that the liberal side of things won't recognize you because they're not on those sites. Your people won't be on those sites. So you're probably thinking, you know what, if I hide in plain sight, bareface, no one's going to recognize me. But unfortunately they did. Kristi Noem's husband is today revealed as a secret crossdresser who dons gigantic fake breasts and pink hot pads to chat with online fetish models. While his wife has operated at the highest echelons of the government, handling matters of national security in her recent role as the DHS secretary, Brian Noem, 56, has been dressing up and paying adult entertainers to talk dirty. Interesting kink, isn't it? Interesting kink. It's nothing overtly physical IRL. It's just all done online. Interesting kink. The Daily Mail has reviewed hundreds of messages involving 3 women from a bimbofication scene where porn performers transform themselves into real-life Barbie dolls by pumping colossal amounts of saline into their breast. Byron has lavished praise on their surgically enhanced bodies, confessed his lust for the huge ridiculous boobs, and even made indiscreet remarks about his 34-year-old marriage to Homeland Security Secretary Kristi, an investigation exclusively disclosed. But I understand that there is probably a genre of porn out there that exists where you're into the very exaggerated, almost the person that comes to mind when I think about this is Ice-T's wife. You're into that kind of archetype, right? The really exaggerated fake boobs, the crazy fake bum, BBL, right? The really big lips. Or maybe not, actually, Ice-T's wife's not a good example. There's another lady that's actually a good example, but it's really exaggerated. It's almost like an anime, like illustration sort of like level of, it's almost like hentai, right? It's almost like hentai level of like exaggeration and, you know, excess. But I would also think, if you're into that type of porn, this is different, isn't it? Because this is like dudes dressing up like that. So like in a cross-dressing trans sort of way. So there's women that do that kind of like adult entertainment that you can obviously check out if you want. That could be something that you get off on. But then there's another side of things where dudes dress up to kind of emulate that look and then talk to other dudes who are into that sort of stuff, and they get off on maybe telling them how to do certain things, or they just talk about certain things. Yeah, so interesting. It's an interesting world. It just seems but it seems very different. It seems very divorced from the conventional adult entertainment stuff person. Like I think, that's what I think about. Who's that lady? Do you remember there was a video of this clip that went viral of this adult entertainment star in New York somewhere walking down the street in a very kind of like, in a very slinky, revealing dress, and it kept falling, and she's wearing high heels and kind of walking somewhat drunkenly across the street or down like a block somewhere. I remember it's like an iconic video that sometimes goes viral on Twitter for time to time. That lady kind of like looks like the thing that I kind of imagine these guys are into. The really exaggerated, super high up boobs, the crazy fake fucking asses, and the bleached blonde hair and whatever else it may be. Almost like an evolution of like Anna Nicole Smith. But yeah, the dressing up part of it is something I'd never really thought I'd see. Like, huh? So why are dudes dressing up like this then? But I guess, if you get off on it, you get off on it. National security experts consulted the Daily Mail says that its brazen behavior could have left the 54-year-old MAGA favorite who oversaw ISIS's aggressive crackdown until she was removed from her position on March 5th, vulnerable to blackmail. Yeah, this is how it happens. This is how it fucking happens. If the media organization can find this out, you can assume a high degree of confidence that hostile intelligence services know this as well, warned CIA officer Mark, whatever his name is there. In a selfie shared with one of his online contacts, Brown, an insurance mogul, can be seen squeezing into flesh-colored crop tops and skin-tight pink shorts. The rugged father of three appears to have stuffed 2 balloons inside his shirt to resemble breasts, positioning the knots on the mimic nipples. That's the thing though, people always say this, innit? You always hear from like people who work in the adult entertainment industry that the most freaked out guys are the ones that work the most straight-laced jobs. Because it makes sense. If you work a really straight-laced job that's also kind of stressful and demanding and time-consuming, when you clock off, you want to clock off. So those guys are really freaked out, They're working 12-hour days. When they clock off, they don't want any. That's why a lot of them probably hire the services of, escorts and shit as well. They don't want any nonsense. They don't want to be going on Tinder and engaging in small talk and shit. Like, look, I work too hard. I make a lot of money that I can't spend because I'm always tired and I have no free time. So when they talk to women, it's very, very transactional. If they're in women's company, it's very, very, very transactional. But they're also the kind of guys who are susceptible to honeypots. They're susceptible to getting blackmailed, They're susceptible to that because they're into some dicey shit. But yeah, that's the husband, right? That's the guy there. And that's the picture of him stuffing the balloons in his shirt to make him look like boobs. Crazy, isn't it? He doesn't even have any lipstick on, isn't it? No lipstick, no blush, just his straight face there and the fake boobs on. Fair play, man. Fair fucking play, innit? Fair fucking play. There he is sitting behind his wife. Very different, isn't it? Very, very different. And, we're all into our things. I guess. Let's go down. That's them on a night out somewhere, I guess, on Instagram. Jesus Christ. Another photo shows the rancher and businessman wearing a figure-hugging green leggings and a white top stretched up over his bulging orbs. Remarkably, Brian's face is clearly visible in both images. He pouts playfully at the camera, seemingly unconcerned that his online activity could pose security implications for his wide position at the heart of Trump administration. So I wonder, is this the reason why she got fired? Is this the reason why this lady got kind of removed from her position within Trump's kind of like, organization within Trump's whatever? Did they know about this before and they kind of kicked her out because of her husband's kind of weird behavior, or her husband's, extracurricular activities? Text and WhatsApp messages revealed that Brian was being repeatedly asked for money during the 14 months Noem had led the latest federal law enforcement agency. He sent his secret roster of online acquaintances at least 25,000 via Cash App and PayPal, but when the payments were delayed or failed to materialize, the chats would quickly turn sour. One of the women became so disgruntled she posted about his behavior on social media. Oh no! That's why they got revealed. He stopped sending money. Oh, that's fucked up, man. That's fucked up. Come on. So they were all good with him before, but then when he stopped sending money, when he stopped accepting getting blackmailed, they decided to leak everything. That's fucked. One of the women became so disgusted. Jack Barsky, a former Soviet spy turned US counterintelligence officer, told Daily Mail the potential for blackmail was alarming. It's astounding that somebody whose spouse is at the level as that kind of bad judgment. Exactly. Very, very bad judgment. There he is there, bay-faced, with his boobs out. It's fascinating how much men love boobs, isn't it? It is really fascinating how much we love boobs so much we're willing to put balloons in our tops. And crazy, like super big balloons to resemble fake boobs. That's how much we love boobs. That's how much men love fucking boobs. If men had the ability to have boobs, or to if men could swap bodies with women, we'd be playing with boobs all day long, and just be touching them consistently. Men fucking can't. There's something about boobs that men just can't get past. Love boobs so much. So many pictures. God damn, he was going crazy on WhatsApp, innit? Uncle's going fucking crazy out here. Uncle's going crazy. The damaging information like this can be tantalizingly lead to hostile intelligence services. They approach the person and say, if you work with us, we won't expose this, and if you don't, we will. It's espionage 101. When Daily Mail reached out to Brian by telephone, he did not deny having an explicit conversation when sharing photos of himself dressed as a woman. It was also put to him that he had made indiscreet comments about his wife while he have endangered the national security. He said, yeah, I made no comments like that. That would lead like that. I denied the second part of that. He then hung up. Mrs. Noem is devastated, a spokesperson said. The DHS secretary. The family was blindsided by this. They asked for privacy and prayers at this time. Privacy and prayers, Kristi and Brian met in high school and married in 1992. Raised daughters Cassidy, Kennedy, and their son Booker. Could you imagine what their daughters are thinking now? Can you imagine what his daughter, Cassidy and Kennedy, 31 and 21, must be thinking now? I also just doubt very much that this is the first time it's happened. I think the wife knew. I doubt if they're like high school sweethearts, right? They met in high school. They married in 1992. It's very unlikely that the wife had no idea about her husband's kink. She knew. But like a good wife, she kept it to herself and kept it pushing, but I'm sure she knew. There's no way she did not know about this. Their marriage became subject of intense speculation when the Daily Mail revealed her alleged years of a long affair with a close advisor, Corey Lewandowski. Again, that explains a lot of things. Kristi, at the time, a Republican governor of South Dakota, denied the fling, and Nomes have since put up a united front. Brian supported his wife by sitting dutifully behind her at the March 4th congressional hearing, scrutinizing her aggressive immigration and enforcement tactics. The Lululemons. God damn it. The Lululemons. Big up Brian though. Big up Brian. He's out here, bro. Big up Brian. He's out. He's outside. But the cameo backfired horribly when the California Democratic Sidney Kamalengadov asked the outgoing DHS secretary, have you had sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski? Noem didn't issue an outright denial, instead snapping back saying, I'm shocked that we're going down and peddling tabloid garbage. The vast trove of saucy texts, WhatsApp messages, and images obtained by the Daily Mail reveals the clean-cut Brian has his own share of secrets. This probably explains why they're still together then, isn't it? They both got things that, that they do. His fetish was 3,000 CT plus boobs, according to one of the models who communicated extensively with Brian and agreed to describe their conversations to the Daily Mail. The reference of custom-made XSL implants that held more than 3,000 cubic centimeters of saline. Fucking hell. 3,000 cubic centimeters of saline per breast, far greater than surgeons typically recommend. It's called bimbofication. People who modify their bodies to look like a doll. The Barbie look. His kink is for huge, ridiculous boobs. God damn, big up Brian, man. He's just a man, innit? He's just a man. Big up Brian, he's just a man. Can't a man like some boobs? Can't a man like some big boobs? Like, just let a man boob it up. Brian got in contact with the model using the pseudonym Jason Jackson, complimenting her amazing curves and vowing to worship her like a goddess, according to messaging by Daily Mail. The text and audio calls, the pair shared everything from mundane daily chit-chat to spicy banter about their augmented chest. How are your boobs? He asked her. Would you ever go bigger? The model sent him an array of topless selfies and lingerie shots. Jason apparently felt relaxed enough to reciprocate, and a photo of himself wearing a skimpy outfit. You turn me into a girl, he said. Should I put on leggings? A PayPal account belonged to Jason Jackson sent the woman regular deposits, typically between $500 and $1,000. She says he openly admitted to having a wife and a family. He said, I love my wife. I want to get better. Then he disappear, come back and start again. Over time, the models began to figure out the identity of the real shadowy benefactor. A second woman told the Daily Mail she pocket dialed Jason and was astonished to hear a voicemail greeting that says, Noem Insurance, leave a message. A quick Google search pulled up photos of Kristi and Noem, Brian Noem. I was completely shocked. Why are you doing this? I didn't think hot guys did this. It's like, ugh. That's kind of sad, isn't it? You're kind of having to put up with like ugly dudes that are into the kink you're into. I was completely shocked. He said he didn't care. I thought you should care. Your wife could lose everything she's ever worked for. The second woman also read that Kristi's alleged affair with Lewandowski, longtime GOP operative who married 9/11 widow Alison Hardy in 2005 and has 4 children. I asked him about it and his response was, I know, there's nothing I could do about it. Fucking hell. That's why she had an affair, I'm assuming, right? Because her husband is out here stuffing balloons into his t-shirt. Fair play. Big up Corey Lewandowski's out here doing the down thing. Big up the Valentino Hills. Meanwhile, Noem and GOP operative Corey Lewandowski continue to appear alongside each other publicly. Lewandowski appeared at Noem's side during the official trip to Guyana last week. Brian appears to be curtailed his messaging around January of this year, just as his wife was overseeing the controversial deportation search in Minneapolis. Trump removed her from the cabinet 2 months later amid bipartisan criticism of her clumsy efforts to label the pair Renee Good and Alex Pretty domestic terrorists. Insiders say the president also was furious after Noem told Congress he had approved of a $220 million advertising campaign featuring her riding a horse at Mount Rushmore. Mark Wayne Mullin, a conservative senator of Oklahoma, has since replaced her at the DHS, while Noem became a special envoy to the Shield of Americas, an initiative created by Trump to strengthen the international security for both North and South America. The newly created role, widely seen as a soft landing for her, involves liaison with Latin American governments. Crazy situation. Not so surprising though, given the level of conservatism, given the level of control, given the religion of, of being overly religious in a Christian, and also the religion of MAGA. I'm not super surprised that some of these guys are into some freaked out shit. I'm not surprised. If you repress it too long, if you don't actually live your truth, if you don't accept who you actually are, and you repress that shit, it comes out in different ways, in sometimes more extreme ways. Because you're repressing who you really are and what you're really about. So I'm not so surprised. I am not so surprised. Like, I would go as far as saying that I bet you if you used to secretly, interview ladies of the night, you would probably find out a majority of them would say, yeah, they've got decent enough clients or people that they know who are from the right side, the conservative side, the red tie side, who maybe outwardly would have very controversial, maybe bad views about a certain community of people, whether they be LGBTQ or not, but behind closed doors they're all over it. No surprise.